Welcome to Through the Writer's Door. We're here, and in a few minutes we'll be talking to a wonderful writer, Miss Marguerite Labby. She is edgy, she's on the edge, controversial, and I can't wait for you to hear what she has coming up. A new book will be out in a few weeks, and just stay tuned. We'll be right back with Miss Marguerite Labby.
We're here with Sam Tannenhouse, book review editor of the New York Times. Sam, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Gee, well, I am a journalist and author and now editor. Before I came to the book review to edit it, I had been a writer for Vanity Fair magazine. They call it contributing editor, which really means a contract writer. I did that for about 5 years. And I had always been interested in the book review. I'd written for it over time. I'd done a fair amount of book reviewing. I'd written books myself. And this is a job that seemed interesting.
Tell us, what does a book review editor do?
Well, at the Times, this is a pretty big operation compared to most book reviews connected to newspapers, because we review so many books.
How many books?
Well, we do about 1,500 a year, which is only a small fraction of the number published. Right. So that means our main job is really deciding which books to review. And there are 8 or 9 editors here, in addition to myself, who look at advance reading copies, galleys, when they come in, months before the publication dates, and decide which books we think we should review and who should review them. Then the editors, who all have areas of expertise or particular interests, will contact reviewers, see if they're interested in reviewing the book. If they are, they'll give them a deadline of a few weeks to review it, to read the book, write the review, and then when we schedule an issue in which we're including that review, because the publication date of the book is upon us, the editor then works with the reviewer, editing the review closely and getting it ready for publication.
So Sam, how long have you been at the Times, and what changes have you noticed since you've been here?
Well, I've been here twice. I was first here in the late 90s for about 1.5 years as an editor on the op-ed page, and then came back here in the spring of 2004, not quite 4 years ago. The most important change in the newspaper itself is our online presence. We're now very much a web publication as well as a print publication. And so that affects a lot of what we do in the way we cover books, in the way we respond to the literary scene and the readers we try to reach. But that's the single biggest difference. We do a podcast now. When I came here in 2004, I couldn't have told you what a podcast was. I'm not sure they existed. We have an online reading group we do once a month where we have prominent writers discuss a classic. We're now doing Walker Percy's The Moviegoer. And we have various related features we do that are really kind of web-driven.
Hi there, welcome, and welcome to the show. And we're here with Miss Marguerite Labby. Yes, did I pronounce it right?
Yes, you did.
Oh, that's wonderful. And she's here to talk about two of her offerings. One is really literally hot off the press.
Yes, yes.
All right, so maybe we'll start with that one first.
Okay.
If you will tell us a little bit about, and it's Make Me Whole.
Make
I'm
Me
looking
Whole.
at it.
Yep.
Make Me Whole.
Actually, this just came out August 26th through Dream Spinner Press. I've been writing with them for 5-6 years now. They are gay romance publisher, and they publish all gay romance. And Make Me Whole actually started when a friend of mine was putting together an anthology, and she
Okay.
wanted museum-themed stories. So she asked if I could write a short story for it, and I'm not very good at writing short stories, but I said I would give it a try, and she said the only limit was 10,000 words, and it ended up being like 10 times that.
Oh my goodness.
So I didn't make her anthology, but I had a lot of fun, with it. It's about lovers who are cursed in ancient Greece. They broke a vow to the goddess of love, and she changed one of them into a statue to wait for his lover to be reborn and fulfill his promise.
Oh my goodness. So let me just back up a little bit. So the short story turned into a novel.
Yes, that's just what happens with me.
All righty, and it starts with Greek mythology.
My own take.
Is that a made up story?
It's a made
that
up
you have?
story, yes.
And then it goes into modern times.
Yes, in
if I
Seattle,
remember.
Seattle, Washington.
Okay.
A young man had put all of his savings, and he bought and renovated an old firehouse and turned it into a gay art museum for a place for local artists to get together and to have a haven to promote their work and to have a workshop where they could work at.
Okay, and so this is due out when?
August 26th.
Okay, August 26th. And we have over here Ghost in the Wind.
Yes.
Is that correct? And that's a novel as well.
Yes, that one came out last Halloween.
Oh, did it?
2012.
Okay, how's it doing?
Doing pretty good. This one is the story of my heart. I love this story. Because when I originally came up with it, I knew that it wouldn't have a traditional happily ever after, ending.
Okay.
And in romance, you need to have a happily ever after ending.
All right.
And luckily for me, the publisher that I usually work with, Dream Spinner Press, had started a Bittersweet Dreams line,
Okay.
where you could have your non-traditional endings. And as soon as I saw that, I sat down and I started to write, and I wrote it very fast. Because it had been in my head for a number of years, and I really wanted
All
to.
right, so let me just say, you had the story in your head, in
Yep.
your heart, and you wanted to find a fit for it, and
Yes.
you happened to, what did you do? You researched and found the publisher that would enjoy.
I'd already been with this publisher.
Excuse me?
Yes, I'd been with this publisher.
All right.
This actually was my fourth novel with them.
Oh,
But they had
okay.
started a new line specifically for you to write more non-traditional type of stories. And I
Okay.
was very excited. And like I said, I immediately started writing it.
All righty. Okay, let me talk a little bit about you. Okay, you the person, the woman, the writer. All right, you're married.
Yep,
Okay, and your mother as well?
I am. I have a son who's 10 who's, I love of my life. They both are,
Yes.
both my men, as I say. And he's very creative as well. And I'm married to an artist. And I'm a writer, so he's got a little bit of both in him.
Oh,
And
that's
he's
wonderful.
much more outgoing than we
Okay.
both are. So
Oh, all right. Now, how does a traditional woman who's married and the mom get into, what would you say this genre is?
gay romance.
Okay, that's what you said
Yep.
it was. All right. I mean, how did you make that transition? How is that?
Well, I've always loved romance. I've always loved. I know even when I was younger, I even liked like Romeo and Juliet. I love stories where it was forbidden love.
Yes.
And so, I mean, when I was 12, I used to tell romance stories to my sisters.
Yeah.
So I've been doing romance for a long time, and then in college, actually started reading it, and that is what kind of gave me the courage to start putting my writing out there more, instead of just saying, "Oh, I'm going to write."
Yes.
I'm going to write, and never really finishing anything. After I started reading it, I said, this is the kinds of stories that I want to tell.
Really?
And believe it or not all gay romance writers are women, but the majority of them are, and the majority of the readers are also married women. Though
Oh, really?
there is a strong community within the gay community that read it as well, but it is more widespread than you would think it is. It's really grown a lot in the last 10 years since I've started writing within the genre and getting published and getting it out there.
This may be a testy question. Is there a backlash from writing from this perspective?
Sometimes, yes. Both. I haven't experienced it personally because I have a very supportive family and very supportive friends. But I know of people who cannot tell their families that they write this, or I've had bad experiences within the community. But I luckily have not.
All right. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that. We're getting ready to go to a break, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Let's tell them about Saint Germain, okay?
Well, he showed up in Paris in 1743 and was seen to be someone of tremendous wealth, and he was known to be an alchemist and interested in occult studies. Exactly how much he actually did as compared to what he is supposed to have done is almost impossible to tell. But he spent the next 40 years wandering about the major royal courts of Europe, and was seen several times after his supposed deaths, and there are 2 of them reported, so which is a neat trick. And eventually, in the early part of the 1800s, he was seen in Genoa by someone who had actually known him in Paris, and he said he was on his way to Egypt, and that was the last time somebody who had actually known him saw him. He was in Genoa, and he was on his way, he said, to Egypt, and I think it was 1802, and nobody who had ever known him in Europe saw him after that. My own guess is that he probably died there sometime in the next 4 to 5 years would be my guess, because he was, even though he didn't look terribly old, he would have been of considerably advanced age.
Hi, you're watching Through the Writer's Door. If you want to know more about the Life Journeys Writers Club, just log on to www.lifejourneyswritersclub.com. The Life Journeys Writers Club, we entertain all writers from all levels. We mentor the community. We mentor young people. Some of our youngest writers to read, present, have been 8 years old. Some of our oldest have been in their 70s. So come on, it's a place for everyone if you'd like to get your story down on the page. Well, we're back, and we're here talking to Miss Marguerite Labby, and we've been talking about her book that is hot off the press, soon to be released, Make Me Whole.
Yeah.
And so you give me what's that loosely based on, or?
Well, I majored in folklore mythology, comparative folklore mythology. So I've always had a fascination for the different mythologies in the world. And when I originally was planning on it being a short story, I had a sort of idea around Pygmalion with the statue coming to life and the love story being between the main character and the statue. But when it grew from there, the statue was more of an inspiration for the reincarnation of the lovers to come back together.
All right, we'll talk a little bit about your other book here. Ghost in the Wind. I have to keep looking at it. But we will also, please let us know what that's about, but we were also kind of talking about how you kind of fell into this niche as a traditional person and maybe into a non-traditional genre, and how you're making it, how the stamina is, and all that kind of thing. So, but tell us a little bit about this book.
Ghosts in the Wind, when Dean's on his way home from a business interview in D.C., he pulls over to help a woman who's stranded on the side of the road, and her ex comes up and he murders him and kidnaps their 2 children. And so his ghost comes back to help his grieving lover, who's a private detective, hunt down the killer and rescue the kids.
Wow. Okay, so it's action-packed.
It's action-packed. There's, love story in there. There's horror, because the ghosts who don't move on, the longer they stay, they are being tracked by these creatures called the jackal wraiths.
Right.
And so there's a little bit of everything in there. I like to mix things up.
All righty. Now, who are some of your literary inspirations?
Oh, that's a lot of them I love to read. I love to read all kinds of genres. H.P. Lovecraft is a favorite of mine. My husband turned me on to him when we were dating, because he does a lot of horror, based stuff. Nora Roberts, Anne McCaffrey, Robert Jordan, Tolkien. I mean, there's a whole range of people that I love to read. Yeah.
All righty, that's wonderful, and that's you're in good company then. Huh? That would be wonderful. Now, do you have other books besides these 2?
Actually, yes, I do. I have a vampire trilogy also out with Dream Spinner Press, the Triculture trilogy. It's my very first solo one that I've ever done.
Yes.
My one and only contemporary romance, All Bets Are Off, is also with them, and it's set in my home state of New Hampshire. I also wrote for several years with Faye Sutherland. Her and I gave each other kind of the support we needed to get out there and write and finish things.
Okay.
And I have several novels, novellas, and short stories out with her.
All righty. You mentioned support.
Yes.
In writing with someone. So, would you say it's important to connect yourself with a network of writers or a
absolutely.
community, so to keep that pen moving or your fingers
Absolutely.
typing?
Absolutely.
I
We can be
do agree.
we can be solitary creatures in
That's
writers.
right.
So it really does help to get out and network with people and meet other people who have different points of view.
All right. How can we find you?
www.marguerite, MARGUERITE, Labbe, LABBE.com. And then through, my publishers, Dream Spinner Press, Carina Press, Ember Quill Press. They're all on there as well.
Okay, I believe you're on Goodreads.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
on Goodreads. There's a wonderful community on there. Actually, I think it's the 10th.
Goodreads.com.
Yeah, Goodreads.com. They're the 10th biggest group on there, and it's called MM Romance, and it's all about gay romance, and we talk about what's coming out, what's new. They have games, they have giveaways. It's just a really neat community. In
Really?
fact, we have local readers and writers get together about once every month or 2, and we have a lunch in the area. And so it's a
Really?
really neat. It was really been a really neat place.
Okay, and give us that website again.
www.margueritelabbe.com, and it's MARGUERITE,
Okay, we've been talking to Miss Marguerite Labbe, and we're going to take a little break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back.
Now, you mentioned that people aren't writing as much fiction as they did before, and it hasn't been as good. Like, what other trends do you see in writing and books?
Well, the last few years since I've been in this job, there's been a huge number, far too many in my view, of polemical books on politics. Books from
Since post 9/11?
post 9/11, the 2004 election was very fraught because of the red state, blue state polarization, and the partisanship in politics and government, and also because politics has become so much of the cable TV and internet conversation. There are just many, many books, usually written from a partisan rather than analytical perspective on politics. And after a while, they kind of sound alike, and they don't seem to be as thoughtful and as challenging as they might be. But there are but political books are certainly a big trend. There are many books on religion and atheism these days. That's one of the big debates in the culture. So some of the big bestsellers in recent years have been books of attacking religion or questioning religion, and they followed a wave of books that espoused religion. So some of the debates in the culture that you see are being reflected more and more in books that are published.
So what type of genre do you like to read?
I like reading fiction. I like a lot of the sort of classic novelists. So that's one reason we started our reading room feature. The first book.
What's the reading room?
Well, that's an online discussion group where we choose a literary classic. It can be very older or quite recent. The first book we chose was War and Peace because it was a new translation. And someone here at the book review, in that case it was me, and 2 or 3 other readers just discuss it. They're professional authors. It's not a book club, although we invite comments on the posts we put up. It's not when we invite thousands of readers just to talk among themselves. We try to create a dialogue among these accomplished writers, and we do that once a month.
The Life Journeys Writers Club, we're a nonprofit organization. We started 6 years ago. It's my baby. It's what I felt like I wanted to, I know how it feels to not know where to start, and I wanted to be that place. The Life Journeys Writers Club is a place of access for anyone who would like to pen their story. I came to it. It was God-inspired. I mentor in the prisons, behind bars. I teach writing, and I wanted to share that with the outer community in the midst of me hoping for my dream. So I'm just very happy for it. Come on out and check us out and see if you've experienced some wonderful writers thus far. And we are a group to stand by and to come in and share what you have, share your heart. Welcome back. We're here talking to Miss Marguerite Labby, and I believe she's going to give us a little treat. She's going to, an interesting treat. She's going to read a little excerpt of her book, Make Me Whole.
Yes.
All righty.
Okay. This is from the first chapter set in modern day. Galen Canellis stared at the 4 huge, unmarked packing crates that filled the museum's small storage room to the point that he had just enough space between each crate to slip through to open them. He scratched his head, frowned, and tried to remember what he'd ordered that would take up so much room. They were good on supplies for the studio, and the gallery gift shop had more than enough stock. Besides, nothing he ordered would have come in crates about to fall apart. He called out to his personal assistant, Suzanne Eberly, as he grabbed a crowbar. I thought we weren't going to have the pieces for the new exhibit shipped until Ella had a chance to do the mural. Are any of the boys still here? I'm going to need some help. The crates looked as if they'd been waiting at the bottom of the abyss, with dried up algae and barnacles clinging to the sides. The metal banding had rusted through in some parts, making it easy to pull off. The wooden slats were gray with age, the nails holding them down also rusted. Galen began prying off the lid to the nearest crate. He'd take a quick peek, no more, before help arrived, just long enough to assuage his burning curiosity. Nothing set his mind going with possibilities like an unopened box.
All right. A great send-off.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. So, now again, how can we get your books?
www.margueritelabby.com, and it's MARGUERITELABBE.com.
All right. Are you on Facebook?
Yes, actually I am. I'm on
Yes.
Facebook and Twitter. I think all under the same names. And on my website I have links to all of that. And also, if you're interested, Dream Spinner Press has the first chapter of every story published on
And
their
then
website.
say that a little slower for me.
Dream Spinner Press. And Dream Spinner is one word.
Okay. All righty. Well, it's been wonderful talking
wonderful.
with you. Thank
Good to
you.
see you again.
Yes, I hope that we see you. I hope you come back and tell us about more of your work.
I'd love to. I'd love to have a great time.
Okay. And we'll be right back.
Speaking of new technologies, do you think the internet is shaping the way people read books and select books?
I think yes. I think in a few ways. For one, because there is so much view coverage, so many books are written about online that's where many people go, especially younger people, I think, to find out about new books. So if a popular blogger likes a certain book or interviews an author, does a podcast, more readers will find out about it. And I think particularly, again, among the young, authors are building reputations online. There are authors with their own websites now. I think it's probably more common than uncommon for a newer author to have his or her own website. So authors can connect with readers more directly that way. And also the style of writing that happens online, blogging in particular, seems to be affecting the kind of prose one sees. It's written in a more casual way. The
Conversation.
Yes, conversational. The author's voice may be more conspicuous than it was in the past. There's not as much of a kind of pretense or attempt at objectivity. So it's leading to a different kind of style of discourse, as they say, which seems to be finding its way into books.
Okay, thank you. And
Thank you.
Sam, any last thoughts for our viewing audience out there?
Oh, just keep reading. There are great writers out there. There are important books, fiction and nonfiction, and we review as many of them as we can. Don't just judge by what we say, but other publications too, including the Baltimore Sun. So just read. It's unique experience, and there's no better way to learn about yourself in the world.
Okay.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show today. I'm Yvonne J. Medley, and this is my latest creation, the prequel to my debut novel. It's titled Juby Stone, Saved by the Vine, and you'd love it if you get into it. Again, we hope you've enjoyed the show today. You have experienced the writers from the Life Journeys Writers Club. I hope you did truly take in the total experience of what that was like, and enjoyed the pieces you've heard today. The Life Journeys Writers Club. We're a diverse, eclectic group of writers from all genres, from professional to amateur, and we mentor. Come and see us. Everybody has a backstory, and perhaps you'd like to get yours down on a page. I'm Yvonne J. Medley, and this is Through the Writer's Door. See you next time.